I wish I could just hop down this mountain real quick, get back on the road. So it sucks about going up a mountain. So you have to go back down it. Oops. And it's beautiful up here. Whoever is doing these signs has got to get their arrow game right. But hey, it's nice to see a trail marker. Alright, back down the mountain. Let's see where we end up. Now you might say, Lunchbox, why didn't you camp up at the shelter up there? Well, one, it's too early. It's only like 1 p.m. Ah, crap, I gotta tie my boot. My tarsals are hurting. Anyway, yeah, it's early in the day, and just like camping on the beach, the thought of camping on a ridgeline or at a summit is a nice thought until you actually try it. The reality is that it's windy and cold up there. So it's not supposed to rain, I checked, but even still, I'd rather it get to where it's a little less windy, a little more protected. And I still want to hike some more today because the day is young yet. This here is why Amanda's feet were all torn up. I mean, things like this. But it's all coarse, volcanic kind of rock. I'd like to think if I was part of that journey that Amanda had to take, that I would have been there to improvise something for her. Some bark shoes or something. You'd think somebody in that group, like, I mean, that captain guy, whatever, colonel, he said he felt bad for her. But why didn't he do something about it? That's what I don't understand. I mean, there's some options out there. If you have nothing on your feet, you could improvise something from the natural resources in the woods. This route was a lot shorter. That's for sure. It only took about 20 minutes to a half hour to get down. It took almost 3 hours for me to get up. Alright, came across this part of the park, and there's clean drinking water. So I'm gonna empty my liter bottle out and fill it with clean water. That way I don't have to filter it. I don't worry about putting clean water into a dirty bottle so much. What I do is I'll just rinse it out a bunch of times with the clean water and then proceed to fill it up with that clean water after dumping the dirty water out. And that's another one of those things that some people might beg to differ, but I've been doing it for a long time now, and I've never had a problem. Never gotten, bacterial sickness or nothing. But I'm gonna get water and hang out over there because I need to eat something I haven't eaten yet today, unless you count the coffee. And it's about, 1:30 or 2 p.m. Well, I lied. I did eat today. I just feel like I didn't because I guess I burned it all off hiking up and down this mountain. But yesterday for dinner and this morning I had, as the sun was coming up, I've been eating on this summer sausage here. Really good stuff for you, huh? And I put it on some pita with copious amounts of Dijon mustard, which I bought all this in Yahats at that Ray's food place. But I've been using a lot of this because I just want to get rid of it. I don't want to carry the weight of the bottle or the mustard. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is probably going to be dinner, because I'm not going to eat this right away. Probably in an hour, as usual. So I'm going to do the rice with the chili mix again. And I'm going to cut this into little cubes and use the rest of that. And this I can't wait for. I picked this up. It's falafel mix. So obviously you don't have to fry it, but this hydrates really well in my experience. Then I also got some, for later date. I got some mashed potatoes. Those hydrate really quickly, also good for cold soaking. And some salmon in pack. And I still have these peanuts. I think I'll throw some of these also in my little rice mix again. So that's the plan. So here it is, all prepped. Got the chili powder on the bottom. I put a little less chili powder this time. So I bought 2 of those packets. I should have only bought 1, because you could stretch that stuff pretty far. Then I got the cubed up summer sausage. I got the peanuts and other nuts and sticks, sesame sticks, that trail mix. And then I just dumped the rest of the mustard on top to hopefully make it into a nice sauce. But yeah, so that's gonna be dinner. Doesn't look as appetizing now, but we'll see how it comes out later. Might need a little more water. You're always better off not putting enough water than putting too much, because you could always add it later. But it kind of stinks when you're ready to eat and then you realize you didn't put enough water. Then you got to add a little more and wait another 20 minutes usually. But this should be good. As you can see, it's kind of right up to the top of the food, which it depends on what the food is. The rice, it's about a 1-to-1 ratio. The mashed potatoes, that takes a lot more water than you might think. And what's funny is if you put too little and then you shake it up, you let it set, it turns into just a brick of potato mash. And then it's, you can add more water at that point, but it's hard to shake up again and mix up because it's just this thick potato paste. Alright, so they got a nice visitor center for Cape Perpetua, but it's closed. Even the drinking fountain's closed. Security cameras are on though. It's a shame because it looks like there's a lot of interesting things. I mean, it depends on what you find interesting, but there's a lot of like skeletons in there. This here is the jawbones of a blue whale. If you wish to read it, pause. You can see in there, it's kind of hard to tell with the glare. But they got all kinds of bones and information about the animal and plant life probably around here. Right up there is the little stone hut. Try to point to it. Oh, my finger's too big. It's right at the tip of my finger there, very hard to see. Let me steady it. Anyway, you could just take my word for it. That's where I just came from. This is cool though. We got a little pedestrian tunnel under Route 101. So just beyond here is the Oregon Coast Trail continues. And I'm just gonna find a spot to stealth it. Lots of these markers here. Well, not lots, but enough. There's 101 down there. So this only goes on for maybe a quarter mile before it goes back to the road. So hopefully I get lucky and find a place I could just rest for a little while. I think this is gonna do it. It's a pretty nice spot. Well away from the road, but it's still right there. I just came from this little point right here. I don't know if pointing like this is annoying to you guys or not, but it's the best way for me to point things out. So I'm gonna go down the trail a little longer, but I'm gonna leave my pack here because I think this is gonna be the spot. So, yeah. Dump the pack. I'm gonna check down here, but I'm calling it a day regardless. But I think there's nothing here as far as campsites anyway. Alright, we'll save this for tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day. So I wasn't gonna record anymore, but I didn't want anybody saying, "But Lunchbox, you didn't show yourself eating the rice." So here it is, my peoples. It's so good. I'll act like I did the first bite just now. Hold on. Kind of reminds me of eating hot dogs. There's that Dijon mustard. Oh, camera's there. And the summer sausage is like a pork based. It's like a fancy hot dog maybe as far as quality. And then the chili powder, so it's like a chili dog. It's actually really good. And then there's the peanuts, which makes it kind of have like a Thai flavor almost. So if you didn't notice, I gotta clean my spoon because I threw it in the dirt. Anyway, if you hadn't noticed, I don't necessarily like spicy. I do love some spice, but not too much. But I like real bold flavors. That's my thing. Alright, good morning, my people. Waking up. And this is gonna be breakfast, I guess. It's the last of the rice that I made last night. I couldn't finish it. I just want to make some miles. I want to get to Florence, but I do want to, I want to enjoy, if there's any good scenery and things like that. But if it's just a walk in the woods for the next 20 miles, I'm pretty much gonna huff through it. And, I expect to be by tomorrow night or the next morning, I would imagine. Or maybe longer. If I find something cool and want to stop, I'll stop. Obviously, I kind of just slept like this. I pulled my bag over me, and then I laid down. I was sitting up against a tree, and then I dozed off. And I had every intention on setting up the hammock, because these trees are good for the hammock. But I was so tired that I just crashed right here in this spot. As you can see, I'm against the tree. And I kind of just lied down, and then there's a root over here. I kind of use this as a pillow. I put my bag over it. Used the root as a pillow. And yeah, I was actually pretty comfortable and slept through the night. So before I get packed up and get out, I want to explain about the reasoning behind me leaving that money on the statue. Because I realize now that not everybody understands that, because it's such a distinct thing that not everybody has been exposed to that type, those types of actions in that part of culture. So anyway, it ties to the story of Lazarus. This is at least the Catholic Puerto Ricans. This is why we do this to the Lazarus statue. So there's two Lazarus in the Bible. There's one, a Lazarus that Jesus raises from the dead and saves from being dead. And this is not that Lazarus, it's another Lazarus. This Lazarus was a leper, and he was homeless, and he was outside of the gates of, I forget which city, but it doesn't really matter for this. And every day, a very rich man from that city would pass by him every day, and he was a beggar, Lazarus. So Lazarus would ask the rich man if he had anything to spare. And every time the rich man passed him, he said, no, get a job or whatever. He was very, very mean to him. So the time comes for the rich man to die, and he meets God or Peter, I'm not sure, but he meets his, he's facing his judgment, and he finds that he's going to hell, and from hell he can see Lazarus in heaven with God.
and he's having a great old time, and the rich man is very obviously he's very disappointed that he can't be with God, and he tells himself, if only I had helped Lazarus, maybe I could get up there. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically it. That's the story. So we leave money on the statue of Lazarus as if to say, to try to help those in need, because it's an important part of what God wants us to do. Another way that I look at it is that money it's a symbol. It's just a representation of work, really, of someone's effort. And, whether that's intellectual effort or physical effort, it doesn't matter. It represents energy, basically, time and energy. So when that woman gave the $10 to me, and it was put on her heart to give it to me, and that note, Federal Reserve note that represents energy, it's as if I was given that energy to put it to a different cause. So when you lay that energy to rest on the statue, it puts that energy into the ethereal, if you will, into the spiritual, and takes it out of the physical. And I can almost guarantee you no one's going to touch that money. I bet it stays there until it disintegrates off. And then if maybe somebody that really needs it is going to come across it also, and it's almost like the statue will allow that person to take it and no one else. So, not everybody believes in these things. I don't necessarily believe in it, but it's when you train your mind to think this way, it changes the way that you express yourself in this physical reality. So I don't know if that explains it well, but I'm trying. Here's what we like to see. Well marked. Thank you. Okay, after reviewing this map here, this is where I'm at. And this is the coast trail that I just took. But it dead ends here, so I'm guessing I have to continue on the road. Because if I do take that left, it'll take me up this creek, up the valley there. So I guess I'm back on the road. Well, that was nice while it lasted, but it's not a big deal. Want to keep going south, so that was a really, really nice section from Wallport. So if you don't really want to walk on the road, you want to do some of this trail, I would suggest doing Wallport to at least this point here, just south of Yachats, because then you have the beach walk from Wallport to Yachats, and then you only have to walk on the road a little bit in Yachats just to get through the town. And then it lets you onto that Amanda Trail. You go up and down the mountain, nice views, and then you get let out here. Hopefully there's more trails for me. I'm sure there will be. This area south of Yachats, it's really great if you like hiking. There's a lot of places to go day hiking. So there's almost every ridge line in these mountains has a trail going down it. So I'm going to continue south, but it would be a nice goal to go down every one of these trails eventually. But if you're in the area, you live around here or whatever, and you're interested in starting to hike, then pick any one of these trails. And like I said, you don't have to turn it into multi-day excursions like I do, or just into a lifestyle like I have. But, you could just start with day hikes and see if you catch the bug or not. Because that's how I started hiking. My dad used to take me to a little state park in New Jersey called Cheesequake Park. And
We used to do hikes there all the time, and that really got my interest peaked in nature. And I'd always imagined myself while I was walking that trail, you know, stopping for camp and stuff, and living basically this lifestyle that I'm living now. So it was a seed that was planted in my head a long, long time ago. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry Hill. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry Hill forever. I'm not stopping here. Want to get some miles in. Now that I'm thinking about it, this whole stretch is national forest. Suislaw National Forest or State Forest, something like that. So there should be no issue with putting a trail through it. State of Oregon, what are you doing? So earlier I saw some droppings on the trail that I thought they were deer. I'm like, it's kind of big for deer. So I guess this answers that, what it was. I didn't realize there was elk in this area. That's pretty awesome. Hopefully we see one. Alright, my peoples, I found a nice spot here to take a break. But the miles are going quickly on this road, much more quickly than on the trail, I guess. But so it looks like probably by midday tomorrow I'll be in Florence. Maybe by the end of the day tomorrow. But right now I'm just relaxing and finishing my coffee. This is nice.